ओम तत्सदाख्यं पुरुषं गुहेशं भक्तार्तिनाशाय शरीरवन्तं मोदस्वरूपं मधुरस्वभावं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। नवो नवो यो विलसत्यजस्रम् पुमान् पुराणो निखिलात्मभूतः तं कालकालं परिपूर्णभावं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। भरं वहन्तं मोक्षार्थिलोकस्य शरण्यमेकं मौनेन संबोधित भक्तलोकं गुरुं गुरूणाम् अजमादिदेवं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। भरं वहन्तं भजतां सुखेन दयाम्बुधिं दीनजने स्वभावात् अज्ञानमागोप्य विलोकयन्तं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। गतिं समस्तस्य चराचरस्य प्रशान्तगम्भीरतया विभान्तं स्तव्यं स्तवेनासलितस्वभावं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। वरेण्यमेकं तमसः परस्तात् वपुष्मताम् आत्ततमं नतानां शमं दिशन्तं मधुरस्मितेन त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। तेजो दिशन्तं मतयेऽपि सन्तं निगूढमन्तर्हृदि सर्वजन्तोः अनन्तदृक्रूपकम् अप्रमेयं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। श्रीमानयं दीन इति प्रभेदान् विहाय साम्येन समीक्षमाणं स्वस्थं सदा स्वे सहजे समाधौ त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। रसस्वरूपं रमणं निजानां स्वरूपभक्तिं जनयन्तमक्ष्णा मोहग्रहोच्चाडनमान्त्रिकं च त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। मतप्रभेदानपि पालयन्तं गरीयसीं भक्तिमुदीरयन्तं मतिप्रसादं भजतां दधानं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। नान्तेन नाम्ना हृदयङ्गमेन दिशन्तम् आनन्दम् अमानुषं स्वं दिशन्तमुत्साहबलं प्रकृष्टं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। यतो ममात्मा भवसि त्वमेव ततो न वाच्यं मम किञ्चिदस्ति यथा तवेष्टं कुरु मां तथैव त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। These 12 verses are called Sri Ramana Mantra Matrika Sthava. It is written, every verse starts with the first one shabda, one letter of that Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. The whole mantra comes in this stava. This is written by the great devotee of Bhagavan, Lakshmana Sharma, who is known as Who. देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभाव सुप्ति समये सिद्धात्म सद्भावतः कोहम भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोहम स्फूर्तिदया अरुणाचल शिव पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल। In talks with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, one Theosophical Society person is asking Bhagavan how to invoke the Guru Tattva. That means how to make a real contact with a Guru, a real master. And Bhagavan answers him, if you rightly meditate, if you go within, the Guru will find you. You need not find the Guru. So when you invoke the inner force, the inner power, the outer Guru will naturally manifest. And that inner force that usually happens as bhakti only. Even with Bhagavan it is bhakti. It is pure devotion. Bhagavan is speaking to Arunachala as a person. It's all mystery, you know. Because it is a mystery, they call it mysticism. It is like a mist, something is not clearly seen. And very beautiful it is. Maurice Friedman asked Bhagavan, Bhagavan, is personal God real? Bhagavan says, you are asking about Ishvara? That is what Bhagavan is asking. Yes. Bhagavan said, yes. He alone is real. He is personal, he is impersonal, he is everything. It's a, see, first of all, we are all persons. When a child is born, a baby comes out, it just screams, weeps from the heart. Is it personal or impersonal? The moment mother hugs the baby, gives it milk, it becomes quiet. Is it personal or impersonal? It is deeply personal. The truth is beyond personality and impersonality. It manifests as personality and it manifests as pure impersonal truth also, as consciousness also. It shines forth as Ishvara. As long as you carry body, mind, I, Ishvara alone is true. He is mother, he is father. As Bhagavan calls Arunachala as Ammai Appan. Ammai Appan means mother and father. Ammayum Appanum Agi. See what a feeling, you know. You never, somebody asked Bhagavan, what is the state of a jnani? Just as we were seeing in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asking Krishna, what is the state of a sthita prajna? Like that, one devotee asked, what is the state of a jnani? Bhagavan said, he never grows from his babyhood. He is like a baby ever sitting in the lap of Ishvara, Soma Skanda Parameshwara. That is what we call. No? The most affectionate form of Shiva. Especially family people has to worship that form only. That is Shiva with Uma Parvati and with Skanda Subramanya sitting in their lap. You can add Ganapati also. Some modern people were asking, seeing such a photo, all family photo, such a childish idea of God. Why not? You have a family, why not the source? See, if anything manifests outside, the source should have the same. Not in the way you imagine, but the love of that family, the emotion, the feeling of security, the feeling of affection must certainly be there in the seed. Otherwise, how can it manifest as tree? So the source contains all the love, all the protection, all the feeling, all the beauty, all the power. Everything is there, which is collectively called as Shiva, as Ishvara, as Vishnu, whatever you might call. Just separately we say Vishnu and Shiva, but Veda says Namo Rudraya Vishnave Mrityurme Pahi. Namo Rudraya Vishnave. Shri Rudraya Vishnave. That Rudra is Vishnu, Vishnu is Rudra, no difference at all. Shankara Narayana we say. So it's Ammai Appan. One portion is absolutely feminine, the other portion is absolutely manly. That is Shiva and Devi, Shiva and Vishnu, both are same only. When you have complete, actually there are two concepts of God. One is feminine, the other is masculine. It is universal. In our tradition, we have this Divine Mother concept, Divine Mother and Shiva. And what about Vishnu? The Upanishad says, Yavai Uma, Savai Vishnu. That Uma, the Divine Mother, she is Vishnu. And Vishnu is Divine Mother is Vishnu, they are not different. That is why one portion of Shiva is Vishnu, one portion of Vishnu is Shiva. And whether you know it, understand it or not, every seeker will carry the seed of either Shiva in him or Vishnu in him. Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he used to identify, just like we test BP and sugar, like that he used to test devotees and find out whether he is carrying Vishnu inside him or Shiva. If Vishnu, they will be more feminine, more towards bhakti, emotional. And Shiva, generally that jnana aspect will be more. So these two portions, Bhagavan named it as motherhood and fatherhood. That motherliness and fatherliness. That feeling of mother. That feeling where you feel you are safe, secure, taken care. That is Ammai Appan. See, people think jnana is dry. How can jnana be dry? The feeling of a jnani is, he always feels he is a baby, this side is mother, this side is father. And just see any child when accompanied by his father and mother. So much courage, so much happiness, with so much abandon he moves about. Veda says, in the Veda there is a mantra which says, just see that imagination, when we go out of Arunachala, we feel, oh, we are going away from Arunachala. But you know what the Vedic Rishi says? Dyauhu Pita Prithvi Mata Dyauhu Pita. That earth is mother and that Akasha is my father. So where can you miss? You are Soma Skandha. You are Skanda sitting in their lap. Here is that motherhood. You just don't take it as a symbolic poetry, but can you feel it? That here is mother. You are in her lap and there is father. You are in between them. The place where now we are having the talk. You look at Arunachala, you will see this Soma Skanda form. Here it is Soma Skanda form. The entire this area was almost at a time about centuries ago, it was an Agrahara. So many Brahmins chanting Vedas were there. This place itself is called as Agrahara Kollai, the backside of Agrahara. I don't know, we don't know whether my own predecessors lived here. I've heard that we have migrated from Tiruvannamalai to Kerala and I have come back to the same place. That we have only heard. So, this motherhood and fatherhood, Ammai Appan, that is what Bhagavan says, Ammayum Appanum Ahi. Arunachala, you are my mother, you are my father, and you sowed the seed of spiritual longing in me. Then you gave me whatever jnana is necessary, you opened it, you kindled it. And before I could fall into the delusion, the Agatyakam, the delusion, you just pulled me back and made me stay in your state. Pazhinil veezhada ezhaiயை காத்து, that protecting power, that power of protection. See, we are all longing for that, this corona, all those things, You feel something is needed which tells you don't fear. Even when a doctor makes a diagnosis and tells you no problem, you feel relieved. Like that Ishvara tells you don't fear. What will be that state? Even Bhagavan himself in Aksharamanamala is praying to Arunachala, please tell me, Anjalendre Arula Arunachala. Please tell me, be fearless. He will tell. If you go on chanting his name, go on meditating, one day he will whisper, he will breathe into your awareness this feeling of fearlessness, abhayam. The state where duality ceases to exist, where you feel your very existence, your awareness is a column of fire, of fearlessness. So, here Bhagavan is given as a mantra to us, where the devotee is asking the Lord, please give me hasta diksha. Please give me a touch. Let me have a real contact with you. We come to spiritual life, read some book. We have some concept of self-realization. But many devotees, they complain, the real contact is not happening. There is a distance. I feel dry. Dry means the real contact is not happening. Many ask, the common experience is, for first few years you have a contact, or few months you feel you are absolutely in contact with the Lord. Suddenly everything disappears, a desert feeling. Then how to regain that contact? Here Bhagavan is giving us a mantra, where how you have to speak to the Lord. You can speak. Somebody asked Bhagavan, we have read Sri Ramakrishna was speaking to Divine Mother. Can we speak like that to God? Why not? Bhagavan said, why not? If you can speak to me like this, why not speak to God? And entire Aksharamanamala is Bhagavan's conversation with Arunachala. 2-3 places we see Arunachala speaking to Bhagavan. Tirumbi ahamtanai digam dinamaha kankan. Arunachala is telling, turn inward and incessantly every day do enquiry, vichara. See where from the eye arises, and you will come to know, you will realize. This is Arunachala's words. Like that, we go on, speak to Bhagavan, Bhagavan will speak to us. Vayyagathil Deiva Vakyam Kettapin Mohamum Undamu, something like that. There is a beautiful song. In this earth, after listening to the divine voice, we will never get deluded. So that is possible. So here the devotee is praying to the Lord, please come and touch me. Not only touching, give me hand, shake hand. Actually this shake hand, rishis, the sages have forbidden it. Generally, you should not, yesterday I told, you should not touch another person casually. Swaparair asamsarga. But shaking hand or contacting hand with a hand is considered as the greatest, most holy sacred act. And it is done in two places. One is, generally people know when they get married. In marriage, the bridegroom holds the hand of the bride and walks around the fire 7 steps. Saptapadi. So that is holding the hand. There it is done. And another place generally not known is when the guru, when the master, actually in sannyasa. In giving sannyasa, the shishya's hand is held. So too when Brahmopadesha, when a father gives initiation to his son, or a guru gives initiation to his disciple. Generally in Vedic tradition, when Gayatri is transmitted, it is called Brahmopadesha, Upadesha of Brahman. When that is there, because generally Brahmins, they learn Vedas and they chant Gayatri, they are the descendants of the sages. So they have this tradition of transmitting the Vedic teaching to the children. Now very few people do it in the right sense, just do it as a celebration generally. But the ritual remains where the father has to hold the hand of the son. That is called Hastagrahanam, Panigrahanam. And you know what the father does? Especially Bhagavan's devotees will be amazed. You know what the father will do? The father will hold the son. I have done it. That is how I have understood it. The father holds the son, the hand of his son, and then pulls it like this and sends it to the outer space. This is a mudra. And what he says is, my dear child, I am handing you over to death. I am handing you over to God of death. I am handing you over to that ending God, Antaka. You go and learn there the secret, the mystery of death and come back. This Kathopanishad is reenacted. And you see the whole thing happening in Bhagavan's life. Actually, death experience is real Upanayanam. That is real Upanayanam. No? The purpose of outer Upanayanam, this thread, wearing the thread, is that you have to find, when you experience death, you know that the body does not exist, the mind does not exist, and you really find your real mystic thread inside. The thread of I, the current of I. That is the real thread. Once you have touched that thread, you can throw this outer thread. Chitva sashik kritva sashikha vapanam chitva yajnartham adritam sutram. That is the vidhi, The shika is cut, the outer thread is thrown away. This Bhagavan did. Bhagavan Ramana, when he arrived in Arunachala, he did it because he has found the real thread within. There is a Upanishad mantra for authentic authority on this. When you see the inner Upanayana, you throw this Karpasa. That is the Upanishad word. Karpasa means made by this coir, coconut coir. Like with that, this thread is made. So that is thrown away, cast aside. So the inner thread is this current of I. Once you come in contact with it, you are really spiritually initiated. Sometimes when the Guru gives you a touch in Bhagavan's presence, mostly this touch happens in his silence. That immense silence just walks over into you. It just enters you and touches you the deepest core. The deepest core of your personality is touched. Outwardly, if somebody touches you, it is only body. But Bhagavan's Mauna, Bhagavan's silence just penetrates deep into you and touches you deeply. So that is Thottu Arul. And Kai, Mei Kattidad. This Kai, this Kai first is touch, contact. See, these meanings are not mine. They are all coming now. I am learning here. Of course, the scriptural authority is already there inside. So this Kai means hand. It is called Hastam in Sanskrit. Bhagavan also uses the same word, Attam. In Aksharamanamala he uses Attam. This Hastam, very important. Veda says, Ayam me hasto Bhagavan. Ayam me Bhagavattaraha. This Hastam, this hand for me is Bhagavan. It is God. And it is more than God. It is even beyond God for me, because with this hand I held the hand of my master. He hand-holded me and guided me to the truth with this hand. So this hand is more sacred for me than God. That is one meaning. Another meaning is, that is why when they chant mantra, Karatala Karaprishtabhyam Namaha, that they do it. Worship this side of the hand, this side of the hand. You have to just worship the hand like this, because this is also divine. So this Kai, this is the transmitting portion for the master, for the Guru, by touching the hand. In Bhagavata, Lord Narayana is giving initiation to Brahma, the creator. There also, what he does? He just held his hand. Shake hand. Transmission is Karam Karena. Sakyuhu Sakheva. Like a friend, he held his hand. That is the first initiation given. Another meaning is, this hand represents the Vedas. That is why the Veda says, Ayam me hasto Bhagavan. These Vedas are really Bhagavan himself. So Vedas means what? The teaching, the Brahma Vidya, the Shastra. It is Bhagavan. So first comes the initiation, then comes the Shastra, and then Kattal. That hugging, that embracing tightly means you are made to feel one with the truth. That is the ultimate realization, enlightenment without any boundary. The boundless awareness, the boundless consciousness, that Chit Samudra alone shines forth in you. You are one with the whole. So that is Arul. That is the ultimate state where the grace can lead you. Thottu Arul Kai Mei Kattida Yenil. If you do not do it, I will fall back to ignorance. Parinil vision. I will again fall back to ignorance. Then all the suffering of worldly life, meaningless nonsense. Tatahkyam, 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 tatahkyam. Shankaracharya asks, even if you become a king, even if you become president of India or American president, what does it mean? Nothing. If the ignorance is not removed, if you have not found that bliss within you, all your life is a waste. Even if you have great knowledge, everything is waste. Everything is sarvam vyartham. As Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami has sung a song where he sings sarvam vyartham marana samaye. Whatever you may attain in this world, you cannot carry beyond death. Sarvam vyartham marana samay. This maranam, this death, is the greatest teacher. Once, long back, every word in that word death, I gave a meaning. D means divine. Eater. He is the divine eater. He swallows everybody. And A is ant. T, teacher. H, humanity. He is the divine eater and teacher of humanity. He swallows everyone, and if you are ready to get the teaching from him, he transmits the highest teaching to you. In Kathopanishad, Nachiketas tells Yama, Na tvadrig anyaha vakta. There is no other speaker like you. There is no other teacher like you to give me this teaching. Because you are yourself the demonstrator that anything other than the self has no existence. So, Nashtamavena Arunachala. Anything other than truth, death will take away from you. So, find the truth. The moment you recognize the self, you become flawless. That is the next song. Kaivalya Navanitam, there is a song which Bhagavan often used to refer. Unnai ni arindayagil, unakku or kedum illai. See, spiritual life, constantly we are trying to remove all the flaws, all negative qualities, evil qualities from us. Whole life striving, and we see seekers, after decades, they come back and give the same voice, the same complaint. 30 years back, they ask, I have this problem, that problem. After 30 years, they say the same problem. So what have you achieved through sadhana? And Bhagavan says, if you really know who you are, there is nothing to achieve, nothing to attain, no becoming there. You are perfect, flawless here and now. In deep sleep, you see that yourself is flawless. The moment you get associated with the I, with the mind, with the body, with the world, who can deny their negativities? Who can say I am perfect? In physical life, who can say I am perfect? We are just guna and dosha, good and bad. In Bhagavata, Uddhava is asking what is good and what is bad. Krishna first gave a list according to the Shastra. Then ultimately Krishna said, to think that this is good and this is bad is bad. And to be without any thought is good. Your very nature is flawless. But if you associate with the body, all the flaws come. If you associate with the mind, all negativities follow. Not only negativities of this birth, last birth, future birth, all are waiting. You get linked with them. You get totally confused. You associate with body, you are moving towards death. You associate with mind, next birth, past birth. Everything is there in that mind. It is a vast body. So how can you be free? Disassociate yourself from the body and the mind. The body is not there, the mind is not there. How to be free of mind? I feel there is only one way. That is, when you meet an authentic master like Bhagavan, and he tells you, there is no body, there is no mind. You have to have that kind of devotion, that very moment realization happens. It is actually that simple. But the problem is, simplicity is not simple. Through innumerable lives, through all our education, we have evolved complexity. We have become experts in becomes complex. Very dexterously complex. So it is a question of unwinding. All our sadhanas is only to move towards simplicity, to become totally simple, to become childlike, to become totally pure, so that you will have absolute faith in Master. And when the Master, the Deshika, tells you, you are Brahman, you are Brahman. The whole affair, thing is over, no question of sadhana. If you ask about sadhana, you are a Nastika. You are an atheist. Because still you don't have faith in Master. So the absolute faith finishes the job in one stroke. Sakrit Shravana Matrena. Once you hear from a real Master, you are established in truth. No question of moving here and there. The body mind has evolved through so many births and achieved that kind of purity that inwardly you receive it and you are established there. That is the greatest guhyam, secret. So here, when you are established, you have hugged the truth, you have become one with the truth. Then, the moment you know that you are the self, there are two ways. One way is, the body is not me, the mind is not me, the senses are not me. This way of negation. When you feel they are there, then what remains is truth. But the another way is, just the Master indicates, Bhagavan tells you, find out what the I is. That very moment, your attention turns towards the center. Kutastha. That's a word in the Gita. Kutastha means all confusion is there. Suffering is there. Samsara is there. So many conflicting things are happening. The body has problems. The mind has problems. This is called Kuta. Amidst this dark, it's just like you light a lamp inside a dark room. Like that, in this chaos, the Master indicates that center which is absolutely free, which is flawless, which is pure, which is peace, which is totally free of all the conflicts that is happening around. That very moment you recognize it. That is Bhagavan's path. Bhagavan never spoke about change the body, change the mind, change the senses. He said, realize yourself. Find out what the real nature of the I is. The moment you realize the I, you are Brahman. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahmamatram hi ahamahamiti sakshad atmarupena bhati. In the heart, the supreme truth, Brahman, Arunachala, shines forth aham, aham, as I. Once you recognize it, surprisingly, strangely, you feel you are cleansed of all flaws. Others will see flaws perhaps, but you feel you have become pure. That is why Gita says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. Nothing is equal to jnana in purifying. When the right kind of jnana, samyak jnana, right understanding, right knowledge dawns, that very moment you know that you are immaculate, you are absolutely pure. The body has impurity, the mind has impurity, but you have no body, neither body nor mind. You are the Satchidananda. So no dosha there. The impurity is called dosha. Next song, Bhagavan speaks about it. Doshamil, Dodamil Agatil அதுதானே அடுத்த பாட்டு இல்லையா? தொட்டருள் கைமை. ஆமாம், இந்த இங்கிலீஷ் வேண்டாம், தமிழ் தான். தோடமின் நீ அகத்தோடு ஒன்றி என்றும் சந்தோஷம் ஒன்றிட அருள் அருணாச்சல. தோடமில் நீ அகத்தோடு ஒன்றி என்றும் சந்தோஷம் ஒன்றிட அருள் அருணாச்சல. தோடம் இல் நீ. This நீ is no todamil ni. Todam means dosham. In Sanskrit it is dosham. In Tamil that sha is not there, so it becomes ta and it becomes todam. Todamil. There is no flaw in you, O Lord. The devotee is telling Arunachala, but actually it is the Arunachala, the Sadguru is telling the disciple Todamil ni. This devotee, this seeker goes to the master and tells, I am a sinner, I am a sinner, I am a sinner. And the master tells you there is no sin. You cannot be a sinner. Swami Vivekananda said, the greatest sin is to call you sinners. In those centuries back, when he declared it in America, they were all shocked because right from birth, they were hearing only sinners. All the theologians, priests were calling devotees, those who come, they are all sinners. And naturally, when we feel body, mind, we feel we are sinners. But Swamiji was saying, it is a sin to call you sinners. The more and more you harp on sin, you will become sinner. But you are not a sinner, you are not the body, you are not the mind. There is no sin. You are the sinless apapa. You are pure one. You are the truth. You are shuddha, flawless. Doshamil ni. You are sinless. See, to hear it itself, you feel relieved. So much hurt we are carrying inside. I committed this sin, I committed that sin. And most of these sins, differs. For very religious people, small things will be very great sin. And modern people, they commit many things, they are not afraid. So sin means what? We have to give a definition to it. Whatever clouds your inner vision, whatever makes you feel impure, that is sin. And that impurity is removed. The impurity is associated with body, the impurity is associated with mind. The moment you drop the body, you drop the mind, impurity is gone. No dosha at all. Doshamil. Ahattodu ondri. To experience that sacredness. When you feel you are a sinner, when you feel tortured by the thought that there is impurity in you, just sit quiet and inquire. Who is this person who feels this? It is I have committed this, I have done this wrong, I have done this sinful thing. I. You hold on to this I and go deep within. This I disassociates itself from the body, from the mind, and shines forth as ever pure Shiva, as the self. Then you find that the real center within you is untouched. The Upanishad says, Asango hi ayam purushaha. The real self is always untouched by any flaws. No sin, no impurity ever touches the real nature. It is ever immaculate. Shuddha, pure. Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Swabhavam. Nitya means permanent. Shuddha means pure. Buddha means awakened. Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Swabhavam. So that is doshamil, no dosha. And to know that doshamil, no, the entire spiritual striving is only for that. Ignorance is the root of all flaws. It makes you feel limited. It makes you feel you are the body, you are the mind. And all these talks, this listening, contemplation is only to just remove, erase that basic flaw. Vedanta calls it as Mula Vidya, the primal ignorance. And Bhagavan says Mula Vidya is nothing but the I thought, this ego. Another part is Ahamenum Mula Avidyai Ahandrida. To remove that Mula Avidya, Mula Avidya expresses itself as Aham, Aham. Ahamenum Mula Avidyai Ahandrida. Aham Ahamaha Allumpahalare. It's a very unique path. Bhagavan says to remove the erase the I, you have to hold the I. Just hold the I. Like you kindle fire, you kindle the I. Keep the I in your awareness. Keep the I awake in your awareness. Aham ahamaga allum pagalar. How much time? Day and night. Whether it is day, whether it is night, the meditation, it becomes timeless. No separate time. That is why when sannyasa is given, the sannyasis really should not perform any special meditation. This time, but that is not possible. Practically, everybody is not that ripe sannyasis. So they have to have a routine. But generally, the Shastra says, after that, no Sandhya Niyama, no Snana Niyama, nothing. Because they have to be incessantly in meditation. Constantly, because meditation is not an affair which you do in the morning and night. It is day and night. That is what Bhagavan prays in Aksharamanamala also. Ra Pahal Illa. To be established in that boundless awareness where there is neither day nor night. The timeless realm. So that is here Bhagavan says Doshamil. Dosham is Vikalpa. Doshamil means Nirvikalpa. Dosham is Vikalpa. Any duality is Dosham. Otherness is Dosham. When you feel the other, it is Dosham. When you feel doership, I did this, I did that, it is Dosham. Bhagavan has always stood in that state, even when people who committed terrible sins, according to worldly standard, when they came and they secretly spoke to Bhagavan, Bhagavan, I have committed such a great sin, can I find a redemption? Bhagavan gave simply, very casually, he said, if you can give up the thought that I did it, you will be free. This is the ultimate medicine. We will wonder whether it is that easy. Yes, it is only that much. But generally, when you commit such acts, your whole system absorbs its impact. So you find to give up the I means you have to give up the body. The entire body carries that feeling, I am this, I am that, I did this, I did that. Hence, a protracted tapas, austerity becomes necessary to remove that I thought from every cell. To remove the doership, root and branch. If it is only root, it can be removed. But it has trunk, it has grown branches, it has seeds. And the seeds are carried by the birds of karma and put somewhere else, and it has also grown. Can you understand it? No? When you have to, somebody says, how to renounce? I have loaned their credit somewhere, I have to give somebody and somebody has to give me money, I have to get my child married. These are all like the seed of samsara vriksha is carried by birds and sown somewhere. So even if you decide to be free, you cannot be free because it is outside you. When the act is within you, you can act free. But when It is somebody is driving and going to hit you, what can you do? That is why you have to invoke grace. You have to invoke the power of grace. So here, doshamil ahatil, doshamil ni ahattodu ondri. You have to become one with the real I. See, not associating with the mind, not associating with the body, you just keep quiet. No sadhana. No delusion of sadhana. No delusion of meditation. People will be taken aback. No reading, no thinking, no sleeping, no activity, no itching of eye, no volition. Just chumma iru, keep quiet. Only in that quietude one becomes free of loss. A single thought, the ego gets activated. A single volition, the ego, you will itch the ego. Kandudivan manasijam vishaheta dhiraha. Bhagavata says kandudi means itching. Like that, the desire in the mind is like an itching, says Bhagavata. The ego, you should not itch the mind with the mind. Itching dani chalo. You should not do itching of the mind with the mind. Just create a small thought, another thought comes, another thought sprouts up, and I, everything comes. So just learn to be naturally quiet. Don't ask any method to any person how to become quiet. You will get trapped. You know. Just be quiet. Be naturally free. Shol ara. Do not make it, verbalize it. Think about it. Do not read books about how to become quiet. Do not discuss about this state with others. Just be quiet. Rest, repose in your real nature. Let mind think. You are not the mind. Let the body remain quiet as far as possible. Bhagavan says, Shul manada tanuvin karmadi shiridi indri shumma amarndirukka amma. Bhagavan says, how? It's a great wonder, such simplicity, absolute simplicity. Shol manada tanuvin karmadi shiridi indri. Without even a little bit of activity of the vocal cord, mind and body, shumma amarndirukka. You are remaining still. You be still. Amma. It is amazing. Ahatil Atma Jyoti. I did all sadhanas that Atma Jyoti did not shine forth. Now when I become quiet, when I withdraw from all activity, the brain activity, the body activity, everything I retire, truly I retire, then there is that light, that effulgence, that Swayam Prakasha Vastu in me, which is not depending on my ego to shine forth. It is not depending on any activity of the brain to shine forth. It is shining forth, ever shining forth. It is the real Kartikeya Deepam. You can never miss that Kartikeya Deepam. So that is ever there. Once you realize it, doshamil, then you find, I am free of all the sins, all the doshas of the body, of the mind, of the eye. Then ahattodu ondri, you have become one with the real I, the real self. Santosham ondrida arul arunachala. This is one Mahavakyam of Bhagavan. Generally we say thanks. Bhagavan's thanks is Santosham. The last expression of gratitude Bhagavan gave to his attendant. Know what he said? Santosham. He said Santosham. And he says that is the highest fruition of spiritual life. What is realization? Santosham is realization. Tripti, you can say Santosham, you can call Tripti, Santushta Satatam Yogi. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, who is a true devotee? He is ever content, fulfilled, no desire, no want. His mind is not a begging bowl. There is no desire there. So, Santosham Ondrida Arul Arunachala. Let me have Santosham. Ondrida means Santosham is already there. I have to get connected with the Santosham. We think Santosham is in money. We think Santosham is in beauty. We think Santosham is in health. Even health is not Santosham. Money is not Santosham. Outer activity is not Santosham. Knowledge is not Santosham. Real Santosham is when you know that you are beyond all desires. You are beyond all wants. You are free of all you are free of all flaws. That is Santosham. And Bhagavan prays to Arunachala, give me, bestow that Santosham, that full happiness to me, O Arunachala, that supreme happiness to me, Arunachala. We have to learn that one word, Santosham. If you can have Santosham with whatever you are, don't seek anything. If you have peace inside, don't commit the blunder of seeking either realization or enlightenment. This has become another ego trip. Somebody has got enlightened, you rush all the way from America to get enlightened. If you have Santosha, contentment, that is Ishvara Prasada, grace of the inner being. God has blessed you. No new change is possible. You are already full. You are already whole. All changes, all evolution is only like mirage. It will stay with you. Only that existence, awareness and bliss which has already happened to you as your own being, that is perfect. And the Guru also cannot do anything. He can just point it out. Hence he is called Deshika. Kuri, that is the Tamil word. Kuri means just pointing out. Chit Kurip, Dakshinamurti is keeping this Chin Mudra and Bhagavan names it as Chit Kurip. The intimation, the mystic symbol, sign by which the disciple realizes that he is already Purna. He is already whole. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to attain, nothing to become. There is one mantra which can instantaneously make you happy. That mantra is, tell the Lord, Lord, I don't want anything. You will be free. If you want to use the mind to tell I don't want. We are using it reverse form, begging. Lord, give me this, give me that, complaint. Yad yad ishtam. In Bhagavan, in one of his Tamil song, he says, Arunachala, whatever you like, you do me whatever you like. If you want to make me suffer, let me suffer. If you want to tear me apart, what can I do? See, Annamalayai Adiyenai Andandre Avi Udal Konda Yenakkur Kurayundu. I have become flawless because you have revealed to me that I am the self. Kurayum Gunamum Niyallal. In the world there is good and bad. Both auspicious and inauspicious things happen in life. Yenne Nivatre, I will no more think about them. See, thinking about them is the trap. Generally, they say, if you think about a ghost, ghost will appear in your house. Because thought is the key with which it can enter. It can open up the inner psyche. Like that, don't think about anything negative in the world. Ennenivatre, yen uyire, my beloved, my life, Arunachala, yannam yaduvo adushayvai, whatever you want, you do that to me. Kanne, my beloved, Arunachala, Kanne undan kadalinayil kadal perukke taruvai, give me immense love to your feet. That alone. And that love also means what? That I don't want anything, because Arunachala is already there. What more I want? So this surrender, this is surrender. This makes you flawless, because this body is the flaw, mind is the flaw. You offer it to the Lord. What else you need to offer? The only thing you have to offer is the body and mind. Actually, when you offer, it is bhakti. When he takes it, it is grace. Here Bhagavan says, you took it. You took it away from me. That is grace. So Arul. So that Arul is something very powerful word which often comes in Aksharamanamala. In Tiruvachakam, Manikavachakar says, Arul Nidhi Tara Varum Ananda Malaye. He is speaking about Arunachala, you know. Arul Nidhi, Teda Duttanal Tiruvarul Nidhi, Bhagavan uses the word. In Tiruvachakam it comes, Arul Nidhi Tara Varum Ananda Malai. Tirupalli Ezhi. In Tiruvachakam, Manikavachakar says, Arul Nidhi, he bestows the treasure of grace. Arul Nidhi Tara Varum Ananda Malaye, the blissful hill. You go round the hill Arunachala. Every day you go round, slowly you become intimate with the mysterious presence, the majestic presence of Arunachala. Then you feel the Anandamalai. Anandamalai. No? Paul Brenton writes that the sage has lived so closely with the hill, he has moved so intimately with the hill, that something, some quality of the hill you can see in him also. It has entered his personality. Whether it is, that is why devotees say Bhagavan is moving Arunachala, and Arunachala is non-moving, still Ramana. They are not different. That is realization. When the disciple becomes one with the master, then he becomes a Mukta Purusha. That is Kattidayanil. That is Kattidal. That is embrace. Thottarul Taimai Kattidayanil Nashtamave Arunachala Todamil Agatil Todamil Ni Agatodu Undri Endrum Santosham Undrida Arul Arunachala. Dosham ill, without any flaws, you are without any flaws. The inner being is without any flaw. To realize that, one has to inquire. Ahattodu Undri, how to become one with the real I? You have to catch hold of the thread of I thought, that aham vritti, and follow it to the source. Take a deep plunge into the heart center, where you will find that the I feeling, the I sense, the individual sense vanishes and something else reveals itself. Matrondru Tanahattondrume undi para. Something shines forth which is infinite, which is boundless, which is peace, which is bliss, which is wholeness, which is perfection, flawlessness. Doshamil, which is flawless, and that is Undrida, one becoming one with it. This Undridal, this is the spiritual culmination, this is spiritual fruition. Undridal, becoming one. Once you become one with the heart, one with the inner truth, your whole being becomes saturated with that principle, which they call as Brahman. And such a Mukta Purusha, a devotee looks at him as walking God, as Brahman, as Ishvara himself. That is how devotees saw Bhagavan Ramana. He is walking Arunachala. He is Arunachala in human form. His entire being is nothing but the awareness of Undrida. And you see, you also feel that oneness, that fullness, that Purnatva. So, this is Arunachala Aksharamanamala mantra, Undrida. Today, the mantra is two mantras. One is Santosham Undrida. And Santosham comes when you become one. When you become one with Him, when you see that there is no duality. Everything is one. Ekameva advitiyam nehananasti kinchana. One truth alone exists. There is no plurality. There is no many things. There is no many. This many happens with thought. That is the secret of it. We cannot remove many by thinking there is no many. By not thinking only we will be free. No? If you start thinking, we get caught by Maya. Cobweb. Maya can trace you. See, how do you catch hold of a person when he is carrying the mobile? By catch holding of his range. Even if you put off the mobile, they can catch hold of you. The only way you can escape is to throw the mobile, to free of the mobile. That inner mobile is this mind, this thinking, this I. Once you are free of it, Maya cannot trace you. Buddha says this. Buddha says that Mara is a farmer. We call Maya and he calls Mara. This is Mara is a farmer. And the farmer, he puts some seeds outside his farm. Deers or cows or goats will come and enter the farm. So to trap them, first he makes them enter into a trap door by putting seeds there or some grass there. They enter and get caught. They themselves walk into the trap. This is the first section of devotees. This is there in Buddha's Majjhima Nikaya somewhere. So first class of spiritual seekers, they easily walk into the snares of Maya, fall into the pleasures of the world, get trapped by Mara, by Maya. Second group of people are like the deers. They become aware. They see, oh, these deers are caught. We should not get caught. So they keep out of the fence. They never enter the fence. So the farmer creates some new set of traps outside. And in that traps they get caught. Like that, Maya also sets traps about this doctrine, that doctrine, this group, that group, all divisions it creates, and there also you get trapped. Because mind thinks. And then lastly Buddha says, those who do not think. The real seeker is like the stag which keeps away from the farm. It never enters the field. The farm is Kshetra, the Sharira, mind, everything, body, mind. The self keeps away from the field by not thinking. By not, so Bhagavan says in somewhere in talks, I never think. I never use my mind. So that is the secret door to escape. The Maya cannot trace. Wherever Maya tries to contact you, it gets a message, the person switched off, out of range. So that is the way, So that is the only sadhana actually. Our entire life, the striving, the struggle is only to be thoughtless, to be free of thoughts. Before that you know the truth, but then you keep quiet, keep still, move away, then you are free. Arunachala yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinchitasti यथा तवेष्टं कुरु मां तथैव त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि।